You are now tuned into Mixstation Radio Live. The views and the opinions of the guests and the hosts you hear on Mixstation Radio Live are not necessarily those of the staff and the management of Mixstation Radio Live, its sponsors, or advertisers.
I'm not gonna talk about me right now. But yeah. So tell me about for each of you, what is the dating life like? Ghetto, 1 star, do not recommend. Dating out here is hard out here for them.
Yeah, I have to agree. Um, it's a lot of individuality going on. It's a lot of people who I don't think really understand. You have to understand, like, there's a culture,
Yeah,
in
yeah.
dating, and then there's like personality. And I don't think people know today. And so a lot of people are just moving on to the surface of like surviving their past. Yeah, testing is cool.
Well, if I'm being honest, because you said the millennials, in my age group, I think it's a lot of that as well. Um, which kind of makes me rethink the idea of dating because at 55, you would just think you wouldn't run into games because you don't have that money out there system. But it's not the case in my age group either. So I'm not gonna. I'm just gonna leave it at that, and I'm gonna let John take the floor. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And to piggyback off of what you said, I feel as though it's more quantity over quality. Like it's Mrs. Like guys want Mrs. Right now instead of Mrs. Right. And I'm not saying that women don't want Mrs. Right now versus Mrs. Right, but it's just like a lot of people are it's like it's I guess it's so easy for you to maneuver through multiple people versus than staying steady and trying to learn one person, not learning them to know their genitals, but learning them as a person.
You find that using it to volume dates versus staying committed to a length of time. What's the consensus here?
I would love to just date one person. Like that's life. That's goals. Like I'm fine. I want to get married one day. I don't have any children. Like I want to get married. You know, so I strive for that. I want a family, but it it seems like on the guys that I attract, I'll say that instead of all guys, but the guys that I attract, they just want, I want casual, or I just want to hang out. Like I recently had somebody tell me they want compassion, but in the same breath say, oh no, I want sex though. Like I want you to bust it wide open for me, but I don't want any commitments from you. I just want you to make me laugh a couple times and give me that ass. So I I think it's just I don't know. It's ghetto.
There's still more men out there than women. Because back in our day, it was like, I say my day, like some years ago, but it seemed like there was a lot more females out there for men to help.
Way too many women for that.
What I say? What I say?
That's the first impression.
Yeah.
Yeah, women.
I can't say female.
That's my preference.
I'm gonna go back in my
Like a
corner.
retired
I'm
corner.
gonna go back in my corner and I'm gonna find out how old you were thinking of saying women.
I was just like, you said that, but
But I'm sitting over here.
Okay.
I should have read her bio.
Oh my God, that is hilarious. Um, so John, do you think it's more women? Okay. And do you think that's why, as women dating, we're not getting quality because you have too many options? Yeah. Okay.
just don't truly understand their worth.
Some people harder than you think.
Huh?
Some people are a
Oh
lot
no,
harder
I
than
know
you think.
that. So what I was going to add to that, one of the things that I would hear a lot of times when women are talking about dating is, I'm looking for a man to bring A, B, and C, and they can't even meet me halfway.
Right.
Yeah. So
Because they're better.
right,
It's
exactly,
compatible. They do
exactly,
better.
exactly. So I love the idea that men are becoming more in tune with themselves to know what their value is, because for a long time that wasn't the case.
Right.
And then you get stuck with someone that might not have been your best option, or may have taken advantage, right, until you settle. Um, so I do like that, but does it make it harder for women? All these stories, but then you go show them different, and then they're like, "Whoa, what's that?" Like, like I don't know how to perceive you. I don't know how to adhere to you, because they're not what I'm complaining about, but at the same time it's different, and I don't handle it. And I'm like, well, how is that fair to me? You just complain and be like, but I'm sorry, you see dynamics that I still do, but I'm showing you that there's A, B, or C, and you're like, no, I'm gonna be stuck in the back. It's like, I think that it's communication plays a lot with it as well, because 9 times out of 10, if you approach a woman, she knows her value already. She knows her worth. She knows what she wants. And a lot of times, depending on yourself, she knows what she brings to the table as well. So it's like with a lot of these men, they're not prepared, and then they get intimidated. They don't think that they can lead up to it. But it's, why not let this person inspire you to be that better man? Like, that's what I really value in my relationship with my wife, because there was a lot of things that I wasn't doing for myself that she taught me. And now I was able to, it helped me grow. And that's what you should be looking for in a partner, somebody that's going to help you grow and you to bring out the better version of you at the end of the day. That, and you gotta know, I feel like people gotta know the difference between helping you be a better person and telling you what to do. Yeah. Because I think a lot of people have that confusion, or like you're trying to like direct them to go in a better direction than where they're headed, but when you can see from outside looking in, and then they're like, no, you don't need to tell me what to do. It's not about telling you what to do. I'm not trying to tell you what to do. I'm trying to help you be a better person. I'm trying to help you be a better man. Like, I want you to help me be a better woman. Yeah. Like, so why is it that I can't advise you and help build you up, like put energy into you, as if I feel like they're putting into me, but then it's like, are you really putting that energy into me? If you're thinking that I'm telling you what to do versus advice.
Yeah, they want to do a job. Wow.
That's crazy.
He's gotta be at a point where he's ready to receive that too. Yeah. Right. So I think a lot of it is that, and men, I'm not ready for this conversation, but when we awesome. She's also the first woman to tell you you're terrible, you look like you're dead, I can't believe it. Whatever it is that she told you, and those traumas, they just start to run. And then we can get in a lot of situations where women intimidated because we come from that. You know what I mean? That first heartbreak is from your mom. That first rejection is from your mom a lot of times. That first yell at and it takes us back to, just starting to, I think it's maybe just starting to catch up. Then we're really just hitting that starting to figure out exactly who we are as men and what our needs are, and what our potential is, and what can be added and what we can add. We just realizing that we can do all those things.
Right. Okay.
We just always been taught, be
like a mental breakdown, like
Mhm.
you're not allowed to cry in front of people because you were taught that men don't cry, but it's damaged so many men in our community. Um, I like now that some men are getting more in touch with, I'm not going to say their feminine side, but more with their emotions, that they're openly able to express it. But then there's still a lot of men that are insecure and not able to express it because of the stigma that comes with it. Now, I'm posing this question to the women. Um, if you were dating someone and that man broke down in front of you, are you mature enough to be able to handle it? Are you going to look at him as he's weak? I'd like to know your take on that.
Me too.
So for me, like I would definitely say that was one thing that I learned within dating, that you have to create a safe space, like, and
Absolutely.
understand what that truly looks like.
Mhm.
If you're expected to be vulnerable, and you want your partner, whether it's a man, woman, whoever it is, to be vulnerable as well, or I'm speaking for a man, what that looks like for him is going to be totally different than what it's going to look like for me, right? Because first of all, we have to be strong enough and like understanding to shut up, let them talk, like just listen to them. Um, and that, I mean, I will say that's hard for a woman
It is really
to
hard.
do. You know what I'm saying?
You learn, yeah.
But I think the biggest thing that you can learn is like what accountability looks like. And I think once you truly learn what that is, you can't unsee it. You can't like never not have it within you. You know what I'm saying? You're always gonna have to be like holding yourself accountable. So within your partnership or whatever, that excuse me, creating that safe space, I think is is the key. Repeat the question because yeah, I just went.
You went.
I'm sorry. I went
You
with
were
you. I'm
doing
like,
good.
I was
Yeah,
going with
yeah.
you.
I was
Yeah.
with you. You
Keep
know.
going. Yeah.
But just allowing the men to be safe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That was definitely my biggest lesson in like what that should look like, because like I can't ask for something and then not also be able to offer it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that, I think understanding like what that truly look like, also how you're showing up in the world, how you're showing up to your person, just reciprocity overall. Yeah, I mean I can keep going,
And
but
I think that's another thing. I think that men, we walk in not necessarily knowing what we want beyond the surface. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And how to explain exactly what our traumas are, and what we really need, and what keeps us going. Like we just, again, we just starting to get to that point.
Yeah.
And I think that women always know. Women always know. They
we're
already know
always
when they five.
feeling.
Yeah.
We're always
Women
Yeah.
already know when they
yeah.
five they're gonna get married. They know what the wedding is gonna look like. Most women do.
I mean, no, you're right. No,
Yeah,
you're right.
I
Most
know
women
tons
do.
of women that are like they already
Yeah.
know. Men would like, we don't even know what 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 pair of socks we're gonna wear tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like, we have no idea
How do you
of
even
these
wash your
things.
socks?
Right.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Now we get better at this.
Slow down
They're
now.
becoming more independent
Right,
now.
right. So it's really it's just a really weird place that we're at right now.
Yeah.
And just
Yeah.
that honesty, it's scary too.
Yeah.
It's scary. It's really scary.
But I'm hearing a lot of conflict here because I'm hearing men starting to find themselves. Women already know themselves, and then it gets to a point where you're in the both sides know have a sense of self, but in order to compromise, somebody might have to lose themselves.
Being
And
compromised.
Yeah.
And
Compromise.
I think
so who?
integrity too. I think that it's something, and I'm not sure it can be teetering on both sides. There's a lack of something, and it's and so right where the compromise comes in. As a woman who may feel like she's bringing enough to the table, does she really want to compromise to someone who she feels like, maybe lacking integrity? She needs to step it up. And so again, where the accountability comes in, some don't want to hear that,
especially if they're you feel like they doing enough, they've come so far.
And the
Like
bar is already in hell. I'm telling you, in the dating realm, the bar is already in hell. They don't feel like they need. These aren't, they may be doing enough for themselves, but if we're talking about coming together, I only want to be in a relationship that we're building and like this is going to be something else, and because then we're talking about the law of marriage. Okay, that's
Okay, that's another story. That's
okay.
another
So,
but the other conflict I'm hearing is traditional versus new age,
Yeah.
because
I was
you're
just about to say, that.
because she brought up the end game. Women, or you alluded to the fact that women at 5 years old has the end game to get married at blah 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 blah, where we don't even know, we not even thinking about that at the same age. So you got traditional versus new age, and that's a conflict in itself as well.
Yeah.
Are we embracing the new in women's empowerment, 50-50, or are we in trying to keep some of those old school values, those conservative values that our parents grew
Can I
up
say
with?
something? I'm sorry that you just said that.
I said the wrong word again.
No.
Okay.
It's just rest in peace, bell hooks. You just said the women's movement, but the black feminist movement did come up with the 50-50, but that's another thing. Sorry. So sorry. No, you're saying the right things. You're saying the right things.
I don't feel like
no, you
I feel vulnerable right now.
You're just saying we're all the same space.
I don't feel like I'm in a safe space right now.
We're freely talking.
Yeah. But no, you're right though. There is a war in a way. There are some women who are still very traditional. There are some women who kind of teeter both lines, and then there's very modern women, and then you have men who are the same. Why they're not lining up?
Well, communication. We're not talking to each other. We know if we have a dialogue, open and honest and safe, we could get to know. We can have more empathy, and we can get to know each other, how each other thinks.
I think in the beginning, most of it is saying what you want the other person to hear too. You kind of, especially for men in the beginning, you're like, yeah, of course, I love a girl who does that. Of course, I watch Friends and Sex and the City.
That part.
I watch that.
I'm glad you brought that up.
And then when she bring it up, when she hip you to it, you're like, I don't even know what this is. So I think that the question now is like, what do you want a relationship to be? Like, what is your ideal relationship? Because most of us are coming in with these traditional thoughts, but then we want something new. You know what I mean? And then every one of your relationships is exactly the same.
Exactly.
Because you really and now, are you being honest with yourself?
Exactly.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, are you being honest with yourself? Is this really what you want? Is this really what your ideal relationship needs to be? And that's a lot.
I was going to
most
say
people are
settling.
But on the other side of that, you also self-sabotage yourself a lot, because you get this person, you're building a beautiful relationship, everything feels good, sounds good, then you're looking at the bigger picture and you start picking everything apart. Like, I have a friend right now who's been very much going through the realms and the hell of the dating world, online dating and everything. She's got this guy and they're perfect. Like, you would think that, she created this guy for herself. The problem is now they're close, they're meshing, everything is great. He's from the Middle East, so now we get to like family,
cultural differences,
absolutely. Things starting to look different. So now it's like they haven't really had these conversations, but she's already canceling it because she's like, at the end of the day, in the long run, I don't see it happening. But it's like, do you continue with that, or do you pull out and self-sabotage, even though you have this perfect person?
So can I say something to that? Like, my wig got blown back this past year, and realizing like how I was dating. And I think a lot, and I'll say this for women, we tend to date with like thinking that this person is going to be a possible, or they are. And so you build that up, you create like, you put a lot of energy into this person, and this may not even be the person, it's just it's an experience.
Right.
And so I've learned that like I was dating that way, unfortunately, but thank God, you see the light, boom, boom, boom. And I think like a lot of us, we should date with not obviously going into it that this is my main person, this is the person. Experience this person, because you could totally learn so much from each other, you know, but it may not be who you're supposed to be with.
Right.
And so, you know, you're not having to create this story or create this future.
Mm-hmm.
And then also it helps you kind of cut the wound off, you know,
Yeah.
stop the bleeding if you need to walk away instead of adding into more time with this person. You know what I mean? I think that was the biggest gift for myself, and like releasing, thinking that every person that I was encountering was that one.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying, because like I used to do the same thing. It's to the point where like about the marriage thing, like I would like to like sound like what was his last name? Sound like right? Like what it sound like with my name? Yeah, like
doesn't sound good.
Right? Yeah. So like I did all of that pre-planning in my head, and it's just like
Karina Adams.
right. So it's just like, you know, when you do all that pre-planning, you set these expectations that can't even be met because, you know, you don't even know that person well enough yet. And it's just like, you're not, is that giving a real opportunity or not? But now I'm kind of at the point where like, even if I feel an inkling of shift, change, difference, or like, if I feel like you're just the slightest bit uninterested anymore, like, I'm gone. Like I'm not wasting time. You know? Like if I get that little bit of like, and another thing I hate is planning stuff and canceling. I despise that. Like, don't tell me we're going to meet XYZ day. And I know things come up. I'm not saying that, you know, if things didn't come up, all right, cool. But like back to back, like that's what you verbatim are doing to me. Like that doesn't make sense. Yeah, so it's just like, why should I keep hitting your lineup for what? You already showing me what you about. You telling me that you don't have time to get to know me, but if I text you, let's fuck. You there. Like, you like, yeah, bing let me, yeah, bing bong.
All you had to say.
Well, let me ask you this.
Dogs in your front yard, just know upstairs I'm going hard.
What's up?
So wait a minute.
Take me to
Someone put up that signal.
You have to lunch sometime.
Right,
Exactly.
that's so funny. Let me, before you ask your question, keep in mind you can call in with your comments on dating, relationships, and intimacy. The call-in number is 855-493-6499. Again, it's 855-493-6499. Go ahead, Rich.
I was just curious to know if have you ever played somebody like that where you weren't that interested and they were visibly into you. Have you did that type of behavior?
Not you shaking your head. Not you trying to say yeah.
Good question.
Were you just kept him right there? This is my emergency. I know he's gonna be there. He in the
We
front
learned,
line.
you know.
I'm glad you asked this question.
I've never like played with
emergency
somebody
bid.
like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like if I knew they were interested in me and I have no interest, I never really played with you like that because I don't like to be played with. So don't play with me. I'm not gonna play with you.
Yeah.
Because some women
Some women do like to play games.
some women like
Some
to play
women
games.
like to play games. Like you said women. You didn't say female. You said women. I got you covered.
Yeah,
And we can talk offline. I want to know. I don't want to understand what's that all about.
Yeah, you gotta get into that.
Some X chromosomes.
I think
Can
it's
I say that?
also a problem with like being in the now. Like people don't just take the time to enjoy what's in front of them.
Yeah.
You know
I
what I'm
agree
saying?
with you on that.
I
Yeah.
remember I had met, I did a show somewhere a long time ago.
Yeah.
A microwave. I mean, yeah, because it was quick, fast, and in a hurry.
Yeah.
I get it.
Popcorn machine.
Nothing wrong with a hot pocket, everyone.
There isn't.
So I remember I had met this chick, and literally we the first time we talked on the phone, maybe the second time.
Okay.
Second, I'm gonna say second time. She says to me, "So what's the end game?"
Wow.
And I'm like, "Fourth quarter." I don't know what she's talking about. I'm like, "What do you mean? What do you
Ain't
mean by
that
this?"
X-Men movie?
That, I was gonna say it's a Marvel movie, right? And I'm like, why can't you just enjoy this conversation that we're having, and let's hope for another one tomorrow?
Yeah, eat these hors d'oeuvres.
So my end
Not
game
putting too
started
much
right there.
pressure.
It was like, up.
That's it.
I guess you wanted to know,
Right.
like, what instead of saying what's your end game,
No,
what
she
are
had a
you
whole
looking
plan.
for? Oh, she had a whole
Right,
plan.
and I think
Okay.
there is an appropriate time to ask that question, not on the second phone call. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like if we've been talking and we're good, and we haven't really talked about what you want and I want, then we have that conversation like
I would've
a
hoped
month
that
in or
like
something.
we kind of already kind of
had the conversation.
Like
Did y'all even
cheated
have
on it
the-
a little bit.
It was the second
conversation.
conversation.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
It was
was
like,
there,
so
but
some of
was
your
there any
hobbies,
chemistry?
we were right there.
Was there any chemistry? Any immediate chemistry at the time?
She killed it with that.
Nah. I mean, it was cool. It was an attraction for sure, but it was like,
Wow.
Because sometimes you feel somebody energy and you be like, you know what? I really like being in your space.
it wasn't
The
that.
word. I
Well,
mean, like that's
but- but-
that what you said. That probably would have got her a little bit further.
Yeah, I was.
What's up with what he said?
But I was so taken aback by it
Yeah.
because it
Yeah.
was like,
So I get what you're saying by
Right.
saying, like, you know, that question on the second phone call or second conversation. However, this goes back to on the guy side. So, like, when is the appropriate time for a guy to bring up, you know, with
Can we
sex?
fuck?
Yeah,
Yeah.
what's up? What
I mean, the same that would have been inappropriate if I'd have been like, all right, so what's your favorite position? Like right now. I mean, and it was like, it wasn't like a build up to it. It was
Right.
literally like, you know, we were talking about just crazy stuff, and it's
Right.
like, and that's why I like the book so and so. And she's like, oh, okay, so what's the end game?
I'm crying.
And I'm like,
But that's also those type of moments give you the opportunity to place a person. Like if you're
Yeah,
on the
that's
second
good.
phone call and someone's like, "Me want to fuck." Okay, I already know what you're here for. I'm
Right,
putting you over
yeah.
here like it's not what I want.
Also, you could have been a sleazeball, you know what I'm saying, and played along.
True.
You know what I'm saying, just to get if that's what you were, you know, looking
I'm a
for.
good guy.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it really goes either way,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
That's a good point.
But here's the thing too,
That's why
though.
it's scary out
She
there.
was
Very
the one.
scary.
It's very scary. That's why I say I think I'm good.
She was the
Yeah.
one that introduced sex first out of us. Like she
Wait a
was the
minute.
one that initiated it. So,
Okay.
so I mean, you know, I think some people create a whole "your name here" fantasy.
Yeah,
where it's like-
I agree.
Wait,
I
so
completely
like-
agree.
said
So
Yeah.
if we
women-
stop, she's like,
Yeah.
okay, cool. Next. All right, what's the end game? Oh, you know, she got to think. Second conversation,
Yeah.
what's the end game? We're going to go out, we're going to have a good time, and then we're going to do what we do, and then we're going to build from there. Okay, you're not the guy. Okay, I'm going to do, you know, some people are like that. Men are like
Right.
that too. There are men like that too. But that was quite interesting.
You should have been like, well, what's your credit score? You know?
I think
Oh my
that
God.
women ask that question
I was like,
more
I was like
so.
super young.
yeah, I
didn't
would
even
have
know
to
credit
agree.
score.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think they ask that question more so because, and it depends on the woman, like if she has a child or not. So like biological clocks are not on women's side, you know. So like you got to understand as us, like if we carrying a child, obviously. We have a time limit for that. So like if a woman doesn't have any children by a certain age, I feel like she's not trying to waste time. Like she's trying to find her forever or try to find someone stable enough to like build a family or start a family with, or, you know, something in
I hadn't
that.
even
But I
asked
think
her her
that's-
favorite song yet.
I mean, I'm not
Okay,
making an
right.
excuse. I'm not
I didn't
making
know
an
what
excuse
to
for
say.
myself.
Yeah,
It's just
I didn't-
saying
Dang,
all
I'll be
the
like,
women.
at least send me a
Yeah.
playlist.
Yeah.
But I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
It was
Right.
just, it was so early. It was
Yeah.
like, I don't even know your middle
You just
name.
wasn't
Right.
expecting that.
Like,
Right.
Your parents
Yeah.
still living. You have siblings. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
Like the
Whoa.
basics.
Yeah.
Yeah, like whoa, we 5 years down the line, 5 minutes on the phone is crazy.
It's crazy, but I do think women are guilty of that more simply because of the biological clock.
Right.
I think that's a pressure that they put on themselves and probably not even realizing that they're shooting that ball in the man's corner.
I wish we did.
You know, I think it's unfair. Like if you're on a date, you really should be focusing on getting to know this person. I think that is lost in the dating game. I think a lot of people are thinking, let me see if I can get in his pants, her pants. They're not
Pockets,
ready to
wallets.
spend time getting to know each other. Goes back to your microwave relationships because I think a lot of that is happening, and then you have people that will meet you, start talking to you, and then decide, or somewhere along the line, oh, I think this could work. I love you, that kind of stuff. I mean, like, I think guys probably drop the love bomb quicker for the sake of getting the drawers.
Maintaining.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Okay.
Maintaining,
Yeah,
maintaining,
maybe.
yeah.
but also because what if I was going to say before, like, a lot of this goes back to, like, what your past looks like. Where did you learn what love looks like?
Yeah.
So it's like, if
It
a
could be a
guy
comfort word.
Exactly.
It could be
A
a
comfort
comfort.
thing.
It could be
Yeah.
a
It might
comfort.
not be
Yeah.
as deep to one person, not even just for a guy, for a woman as well. I know with me, I had to take a look at my parents' past and realize
Okay.
that me seeing their version of love really screwed what I thought, or skewed what I
Right.
thought love looked like. And I had to go through a lot of, messed up things, and I was a toxic. I didn't do right by people, but it was because of what I saw my
Right,
father do to my
right.
mother. She stayed, and I'm like, oh, okay, if you love a person, do whatever you want. They gonna stay
They're
with
gonna
you if
be
they
there.
love you enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, that was, for that person, for their relationship. That's
Yeah.
not for everybody. So it's whatever your perception of love is coming from.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, some people could come from a two-parent household that was like solely in love, or grandparents solely in love, and they still don't know what love is. They still don't know how to love, how to console somebody, how to be that emotional support for someone else. Like, they still have their own issues and work up on. And back to what you said earlier, you said that guys have mommy issues, women have daddy issues. So, like, it definitely
Mommy issues too.
Yeah, I mean, mommy issues too.
I think
for
we all
sure.
suffer from the mother wound. You know what I mean? And it looks different. I think for everyone. But to kind of piggyback what you were saying, I just came across an article, and it was kind of like discussing how like the nuclear family is like really no longer. And then it's also kind of not really helping in a way. And I think a lot of people hold that too. The two-parent household, the staying within a home. There's a lot of men who are now wanting to live in a polyamorous lifestyle too. And that's where I kind of take it back to, like, are you lacking something? Something's lacking because
Just go for it.
I know. I'm
Just
trying.
go for it.
Because we're all affected by like patriarchy and like what that looks like, right? We all, and I think that's where the feminist act comes in, because like it was the 50-50 thing was invented because we all are human. We all have a say, right? We all have, we all bring something, right? And so I think today is like, that's where we're all trying to like figure out, be whole, and then finally come together. But something within like, the article, it was really interesting because it was just like the nuclear family, we've seen it, and we all have people who come from it, but then you still see people who have come from it who are jacked up. So it's just kind of like
where's the direction?
Where do we go? Because like we've seen both, we've seen it all. So we've seen every
I think
scenario.
people just have not been their truest selves. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I agree.
Like, and that doesn't mean that you'll never be a committed person. You'll never be ready for marriage or ready for kids.
I received that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Amen. I just think that's just where you are right now. And sometimes the thing about it is, a lot of times we're not willing to meet people where they are right now. We're looking.
That's a good
We're
point.
trying to meet the future them. So if I'm talking to you today, I'm looking at my wife. You know what I mean? As opposed to you being like, look, I'm this type of person and that, and I'm like, one day she's gonna have the greatest credit score. We're gonna have all these kids. And, blah. And look, you telling me how you don't want kids right now, but I don't hear it because I'm looking at what I want you to be.
Right.
And so then I've built the person in my mind that you really aren't, but because I was looking past you. I was creating you, and instead of letting you be who you are, and then when that honesty hits, I don't like you anymore. Or I feel betrayed by you. And the whole time you were like, well, I told you I was such and such. And you're like, when was this? And you're like, at dinner, and I'm like,
the resentments come through.
It's crazy. Because I think we do get these notions in our head about what we see this person to be in the future, because we stop listening. We just hear our own voice speaking. And I think that's detrimental. And like you said, DZ, it causes resentment.
Absolutely.
I think that we can't judge our future relationships based on the relationships that our parents had, because that may not work for us. we have to create our own traditions and the things that make us happy. I knew coming up I didn't want the same kind of relationship my parents had. It was good for them, but that wasn't for me. I think for me, if I'm to date, I think that that person would have to be very secure with themselves, because I'm a very outgoing person and I'm not going to disconnect from the person I am, because the same thing that attracted you is now the same thing that you want to control and manipulate.
Tell
You know what I'm
Jackie,
saying?
everybody want the sun, but they can't handle the glare, right?
Thank you.
Exactly.
I think honesty is key when you're getting to know people, because you have this sense of falsehood about the image that you see. But you haven't taken the time to really get to know that person, and then what you see, you want to, I feel like, mold into something that isn't.
And I feel like that goes back off of getting to know somebody just for sex versus for themselves. And also, like, you're making kids with these people, or like, you know, this person, and then you go, oh, my baby mother's horrible, oh, my baby daddy, he's this, that, and the third, da, da, da. But you never got to really know this person. Like, now you're like permanently connected to this person and this energy that you don't like, because you didn't get to know who that was that I'm laying with, who that is who is that I'm like creating a life with. Who am I with the 18-year-old, like, you know, for 18 to life? Like, that's crazy.
Let me ask this question though. What if you keep attracting falsehoods because you have so many in yourself, and that person is attracted to you? You attract what you are to some degree. You know what I'm saying? You attract.
You gotta learn them lessons.
Absolutely. I agree. I agree.
And that's what happens a lot of times. You know, we get with a person, and you know, this is not what we thought it was going to be, but we're not what they thought. You know, we're not who we're supposed to be either. And again, that comes with, you know, us trying to find people who can meet us where we are.
Right,
and you got to be cool with that. You know what I'm saying? Because, I mean, we could all think of times we met somebody and we could be like, that was trash and it was this and it was that.
Yeah.
And then if there comes a sobering moment where you're like, wait a minute, I wasn't really much better. If I was even any better than that person, I was on this and I was like that at that time. And then there goes the lesson in it. But we all have to be able to have enough honesty within ourselves to know exactly what realness and what BS we bring to the situation too.
I have a question for everyone. The person you are now, sitting here right now, would you date that person?
Yeah.
Yes.
I would date me.
I love her.
I would date me.
Awesome.
She's grown. Yeah, exactly. Like, I've grown. Now, I'm proud of her. I will say that there's still some work that I would like to do with on myself.
Right.
But at the same time, like, because I'm not perfect, and you'll never be perfect.
Absolutely.
But like, I try to be a perfectionist. That's my problem. Like, I try to fix myself to be the best that I can possibly be, like, all the time. Like, no, I'm not where I want to be, but like, I see so much for myself. I'm very ambitious. Like, I have goals out the ass. Like, I know what I want for my life. I know how I'm gonna get there. It's just like, my thing is procrastination. It's a thing that I'm aware of, and I'm working on it. But at least I know and acknowledge that. But other than that,
But are you working on it now, or are you putting it off?
No, I'm working on it. I actually, shout out to me, because I actually did homework today. I'm still trying to catch up, but I did some homework.
Give yourself grace.
Pretty cool.
You know, exactly. So like, I know what I have to do to move forward. So like, that is what I look for in a person. So hell yeah, I would date me. Do you? Let me one time. Stand it up.
Well, my question for you, Jackie.
To me?
Yeah, my question for you. Now, you offer perspective, like post-relationship, post-marriage. Do you find yourself, at this point, less patient in the dating, where you look at the red flag and you just move on, where in the past you may have been more patient?
I think I'm probably borderline. I think for me in dating, I definitely believe in getting to know the person. I'm not so eager to commit to a relationship after being in the marriage for a very long time. And certain things I am very impatient about, and games is one of them. I cannot play games. I feel like
You don't like spades? That's a deal breaker for me.
I can't with him, but I just feel like at this, and I think John, you brought up a great point. Meeting someone or accepting the level that they're on. I think at this stage in the game for me, I do feel like meeting someone around my age, I'm not saying they're going to be on the same level as I am, but I think at some point you put those childish games aside. I'm 55 years old, so if I meet a 55-year-old or older, I don't expect to be playing games.
You better go for 45, 40. You
I
know,
thought
man,
about
put
being a
55.
cougar.
I was just about to say.
I thought about that for that stamina, you know. No, but seriously.
No, but I'm saying your energy and your spirit. I mean, I know you.
Yeah.
And to keep up
I
with
see that in you.
Yeah, I've entertained that idea.
Games and shit.
You gonna be like, they better go out dancing, okay? Like,
Yeah, and that's the thing. I
Like-
love to dance, all of that.
Can we
So
go play
I
bingo?
think, hey, don't sleep on bingo. We
I actually
talked
like
about that,
I actually like bingo. I went for my first time. I went to
Yeah,
Bingo
don't
World and
sleep
I was
on
just
bingo.
stamping away, just.
My brother seems to think that's where I need to go. You need to go to bingo. You know, you don't. I'm in the house a lot of times, so it feels like bingo is a great place to meet people. I do think my tolerance is
I'm
low
trying to
on
start-
something.
oh, wait, I'm sorry.
You know,
I was going to get a little off topic.
I want to date. I have dated, but I don't know. I think I'm good right now.
Is ghetto in that world too for you?
I think. So I'm not gonna go into that because I got.
I know the story.
We want to hear it.
But because so
We gonna be
live in a-
55
let me
one
say
day.
this.
Right.
Yeah, that we live in a narcissistic society. I think the pandemic has created a lot of narcissists, and
Crazy people.
Exposed.
exactly. And I think that because it's a personality disorder that there's no treatment for, it can be on the very low scale or the very high scale. I think when we're getting to know these people, we have to start paying attention to some of these red flags. You know what I'm saying?
That part. Red
That
flags.
part. Because I think we're happy that we're dating, but we're missing key flags. We're missing signs, and they show you a lot of times in the first couple of weeks. You dismiss it, but again, it's like we need to be more mindful of that.
Yeah,
I think when
definitely.
you're getting to know someone, and because you have to factor in mental illness as well. You know,
About it.
and some people may not even be aware that they have a mental illness, or they could be aware and may not be getting treatment for it. And that comes into your relationship. Once it enters into your relationship, it then becomes toxic. You know, you have to explain things that you're not doing, or it's a whole lot that comes with that. And it's not necessarily a reflection of you. It goes back to the beginning because you haven't taken the time to really get to know this person, and you either overlooked the flag or
Just collected them along the
just
way.
collected it along the way. Yeah.
I didn't mean to cut you, but that's so funny that you say that because I was dating a person and I noticed a certain behavior, right? And I wouldn't, I can't identify it as a, mental, but it was a
Right.
behavior. And so when I brought attention to it, they immediately tried to gaslight me.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it was just like,
exactly, yeah.
so wait a minute, why do you do that? And then he's just like, well, you're well, then you throw the gaslight word, and that makes me feel some type of way. And I'm like, well, why? He was like, because I know that's something bad. And I was like, well, I'm calling a behavior. I'm not saying that that's your identity.
Yeah.
But I am identifying a behavior, and I think we should be able to kind of have that conversation. But it became like he immediately went to gaslight. And I think I don't want to say like people are narcissistic, but I think we do tend to have narcissistic characteristics, behaviors, whatever you want to call it. They up in there.
And so is it a deal breaker? Is it something that the two of you can discuss? Treatment options, if possible, if you are to that far left. But I think you have to be able to have a conversation about it without going on the defense. It's not that you're trying to belittle this person. Right. You're just trying to see how you can help them be better. Help them be better. Right. Yeah. Exactly.
But you know what? That's your perspective, because earlier in this conversation, I think everyone agreed that they want their partner to be more emotional, more sensitive. There's a situation where you hit a sensitive area, and that person went into defense mode.
Yeah.
But in a sense, they were being emotional. They were being real, and they told you their feelings. Mm-hmm. My question is, how much is too much sensitivity? Is it a situation where, like my wife liked to watch Lifetime movies and Hallmark Channel. If I'm crying more than she is all the time, she probably might look at me sideways, right? I don't know. I grew up from a culture where you wasn't supposed to show emotion. Jackie knows me. I'm a sensitive person, and I'm a compassionate and caring. And my love language is like what they would say, acts of service. So instead of me too. I would do things.
That's your
for
dominant
you,
one, like your main one.
Yeah.
Acts of service and words of affirmation. So I want you to tell me that I'm great too. So.
Yeah,
that's mine. That's mine right there.
That's my top one is words of affirmation.
I was like, you feeling bad? Or do you need a hug? What do you need me to do?
Right.
I'm not.
And you need to be told that was the greatest hug they ever had.
Yes. But like, how do you? If a person's too soft or a person too sensitive, a man is too sensitive. I could say man, right?
No.
If they're too sensitive, are they? Is it a warning flag? Do you look at them as not feeling safe in their space? I mean,
what are we saying is too sensitive?
Like crying every day,
crying all the time.
Again, this is going to be anecdotal because that we're all talking about our own experiences. I would want my man to be like that. I want those spaces because for me, I'm not that one that you can just get to be all the way vulnerable. So if you can get me to be vulnerable, we both vulnerable. Mm-hmm. Of course, I want all the things. I want all the things, like everything. All the inhibitions, everything out the window.
All the things.
All the things.
All the things.
All the things there. She said it.
So,
we talk, okay? Like this, you know what I'm saying? We had podcasts. I can't really say what I want to say, but all inhibitions. Yes. So there is no like side. Mm-hmm. Now, if you got like stomp your toe or something, or you like got beat up. I don't know. It's gotta be something like real crazy.
Like, my thing is like if it's something that you could have avoided and you crying over it constantly,
Yeah. I want to know. Are you gonna bring it up in the argument?
If it's like,
that's what I want to know.
So no,
that's why your father was a drunk.
I think if that happens, then you don't have. I think you don't have a person. That's not your person.
Yeah. I don't know that at the
somebody
time.
will do that to you. That's unforgivable.
We've all been in relationships where it went left, and all of a sudden, it's hate and a lot of
absolutely.
So it makes you more reluctant to. It makes you gun shy.
Yeah,
exactly. I trust you with that.
So unfortunately, while you're dating, you're dealing with that guy's baggage that he's has yet to uncover because of his past experience. So,
So
I don't have a
You
question
have
about
to
it,
let
but
that go.
Right.
I mean,
I
that's
was
the
gonna
thing. It's like you can't take that from relationship to relationship.
Yeah.
At some point, you have to allow yourself to heal, and if it's therapy that you need in order to move forward, don't be afraid to get therapy.
yeah, but most of us don't know that we need therapy.
Right. I
And
was
we
gonna
don't
say,
allow
like,
I'll
ourselves
tell
to
you,
heal.
you do.
Yeah.
Men need
And that's
men
what-
need
yeah,
therapy.
men, just black people as a whole, I feel
Yeah,
like.
we-
But
we
I
all-
will delineate it. Black men, please go to therapy.
Yeah.
I had
We
to
We are
tell
telling
my
you it is
brother.
okay
Yeah.
to
It
go
is
to
okay
therapy.
to go to
And
therapy.
I go, so I
Yeah.
get it.
You
Yeah.
feel me?
Yeah.
Like no, you need it because it's not fair to the person who you're going to be with to bring that in and then expect them to
Just deal with it.
know that you
Yeah.
had that happen,
Right.
and then now they're walking on eggshells because you're thinking at the end of the day you tell them something they're gonna blow it up in your face. That's not fair.
I think
It's not fair.
I think it's just a lot to unpack as a human.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? Like,
absolutely.
And we got to be a little more like gentle with ourselves. The problem is we all run from what we need a lot
Yeah.
of times, and then we just jump into
That's
situations
so
and
true.
jump into situations, so we never really heal. We just
Yeah.
go to the next thing,
Go for comfort.
hoping that something subsides in us where we don't have to deal with whatever it is we're running from. But I think for everybody, we're at a point now. I keep saying that, where we're all unpacking.
Yeah.
And it's hard, man. It's really, really, really
Oh,
tough.
definitely.
I started going to therapy because I had an aunt and an uncle die within a month of each other. And my uncle was like my brother. We were 2 years apart.
Okay.
My mother's
Wow.
baby brother. My mother raised him.
Wow.
And then the next month, her sister died. And when my uncle died, I was so devastated.
Yeah.
So when my aunt died, I started laughing. And I called my father, and he thought I was joking about something. And I'm like, she died, and I'm
Yeah.
laughing. He's like, "Oh my God, that's crazy!" And then he says to me, "When this is over, you need to go to therapy."
Yeah.
But therapy opened the door for me to talk about a whole bunch of other stuff. And then what was crazy is, the next year, my dad passed.
Yeah.
So by then I was
sorry.
able. Thank you. By then I was able to really get into my feelings. You know what I mean? So it taught me. So by the time he was gone, my dad was my best friend. As devastated as I was able to identify how I was feeling.
Okay.
So it wasn't a whole lot of taking that out on people and all kinds of stuff. I mean, you have your moments where you feel like you need certain things to
True.
get through it.
Right.
But I could tell you how I felt. I wasn't sitting there like, I don't know.
Being
I
able
was
to
like
actually
Right.
identify
hurt,
it.
Okay.
Yes.
devastated.
Yes, name
I'm
it.
mad, you know what I mean? Like one of my homeboys, he says to me the night my father passed, he said, we just hold on to the memories and we're so glad that he's with God. And I was like, I'm gonna be real with you. I don't want him to be with God. I'm
Yeah.
mad that God took my guy. You know what I mean? Because I would have probably punched him years ago for saying something like that, and not even knowing why I hit my man.
Yeah.
I was able to say, look, I think that's super disrespectful to you to say that to somebody when somebody goes. But I was able to, just the fact that I was able to vocalize that at that point was a big deal for me. And to be able to get up and talk at that man's funeral and talk about how I was really feeling about the whole situation, that was a lot. But therapy is definitely, but you
Yeah.
gotta find the right person.
Can I affirm
I agree.
you real
Oh yeah,
quick?
it's like dating all
said
over
can
again.
you-
It's so true.
Can I affirm you real
Sure,
quick
sure.
because I just want to, because a lot of men only know one
Affirmation.
emotion, right? Yeah, men only know one emotion, and that's like anger, right? Because and to I know that you now can identify other emotions, like that's making you whole. So thank you,
Yeah, thanks for
Black
sharing
man.
that,
Thank
bro.
you.
Yeah.
Sure, I appreciate y'all even listening. I think the thing we know more than anything as men, probably as people, is fear.
Yeah.
We're really afraid of like everything. I was working in mental health, and I always said, if you take people out of that environment that they felt like they were in charge in, you get the real them, and you start listening to why they are the way they are, or they
Right.
think they are the way they are, right? How they got to the point of those situations. But it's just the whole unpacking thing. I remember I had a guy who was just vicious, and I was the only person that would go in this room. And I sat with him on the bed one day, and I taught him how to just breathe and meditate. And I was like, we're gonna take 5 breaths, and the last one is gonna be the longest. In the middle of the last breath, he just starts crying. and everybody's looking like,
Right, that breakthrough.
Yeah.
they like, how did, and I was like, if you all just took the time to treat him like a human being and not like an animal, and maybe see what's going on with him and why. And then he told me, I'm like this because my mother died. And ever since my mom died, I have not known how to deal with my emotions.
Yeah.
So,
What do you think about they saying anger is a secondary emotion? Because once you're angry, something's always fuels that anger, whether it's fear, you know, or it might be you're angry in a relationship because you felt betrayal, you know. So a lot of times when things come out from people, and I wouldn't say men or women, I would say people, you know, when you see the anger, it's better to address what's causing that.
Right.
You know, because anger is a secondary emotion, but it's something deeper that's fueling that, and it could be a gamut of things.
It could be ego too.
Ego
is
ego.
Oh man, no, that's
Definitely.
the one.
Ego gets in the way of everything.
We are
Especially when you have
gotta
two
check
big
that at the
egos.
door.
Right, exactly.
Look, y'all man be like 2 minutes. Damn man.
I'll say this though, like the pandemic, it ain't give you no choice but to
We are all new
Deal
people because
with
of
it. See,
it's a whole new
absolutely, it's a whole
you had to
new
get naked
world.
with yourself.
There was a shift. There was a
the
shift.
people that are on this earth right now, I'm gonna say for the last 50, 60 years, like we've probably seen the most history, more history than any other generation or century before us. Like we are literally watching the world change
Yes.
constantly. Like we survived the whole 9/11 situation, the Gulf War, some people Vietnam, the Black Panther, the Civil Rights Movement, all those things with the racism, and then with this pandemic. I mean, it literally
y'all.
changed the
We
world.
still in a pandemic.
Yo, we are in a pandemic.
We're still quarantining right now.
And that's what it
Yes.
that's what it costs you to do. Be honest with yourself.
Facts.
Yeah.
That ego, that fear, all that's just bouncing off the wall.
Yeah.
And now I didn't catch you. I'm sorry. We gotta have each other. We gotta hold each other accountable. You understand?
Right.
But
Absolutely.
we building over here.
We is.
But you know, I think that's been the biggest thing about it. As it's caused everybody to really become who they are because you have no choice.
Absolutely.
You have no choice.
I
And you
agree.
got so many.
I mean, why would you want to be anybody else, though? That's the thing. I mean, now, granted, I think a lot of people get caught up on
'Cause you
social
don't
media.
know.
It's the social media thing nowadays. Like, social
pressure
media.
for-
Right,
It's a
exactly.
pressure, yeah.
It's like, this is how you're supposed to look. This is how you're supposed to be. This is how you're supposed to, like, a lot of
it's the
people.
suppression of the real you.
Right,
Yeah.
but, like,
That's what
people
it's
make
always
that their reality.
I
You
think
know what I'm saying?
Social media just magnified
Yeah, it
what
has.
already was going on.
Yeah.
My dad, before he passed, he used to say, "It's all of this stuff is pretty
been
much it's
happening.
always been
Okay.
happening. You just have camera phones.
Yeah, more access.
Yeah.
That's why I said,
Yeah.
they
know what
talking
I
about the metaverse. We've been in the metaverse.
Right,
Like, the
right.
metaverse has been happening. Like,
It's just now we're all
just-
like awakened to it.
We're awakened.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's now it's like
Age of Aquarius.
Right, right.
it's coming.
We in it.
It's definitely coming.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I get it.
Do you think, I have a question. Do you guys think that people like the zodiac sign play a role in
We can't have a daily conversation without the zodiac.
right, so like play a role in like people's behaviors or like
Sort of.
compatibility with each other or like practices and stuff like that?
I definitely
It
think
does.
that, yeah, it does. There's definitely an attraction with relationships, friendships, whatever. And I don't think it's a coincidence. Like, throughout my life, I attract a lot of Geminis as friends and very close people,
those?
and also Aquariuses. And I'm a Scorpio, but it's like, yeah, that's all, baby. Yeah, but
I'm crying.
As much as oh,
That's Scorpio
November
gang
9th.
over there.
hey, I'm the 15th.
Oh my God. That's surrounded by Scorpio gang.
Talk about it.
That's right.
so
Conceived February 14th.
Okay.
Yeah, me too.
My
That's
youngest
in
daughter was
Bunch
born
of Valentine's Day sex sitting over there.
I'm definitely a Valentine's baby. I was born on the 15th. So,
Okay.
15.
Let me tell you, I'm from Trinidad, so I was conceived during Carnival time. Yeah.
All right, so like I said, Geminis and Aquariuses, do y'all kind of fall in the same line with that at all? Or do you
my
see any
wife.
patterns?
My wife is an Aquarius, and my
You're an
mom
Aquarius?
is an
Okay.
Aquarius.
You're an Aquarius?
No, I'm
his,
an
his
Aries.
wife's an Aquarius.
Don't ooh me. My sign is fire, baby. Don't ever ooh me.
No, you're right.
I'm fire, baby. Let me let you know that now.
Yeah, you should have said that.
I got.
Let you
I
know
was-
that
I was-
They're gonna fire right now.
I was like, "Dang, she was so sweet."
Well,
I was,
Why
I
they-
was married. When
why
I
they
was
think
20
we so
years
mean,
old,
though?
and she was.
I don't. They don't think we mean. They think we like.
And
She
When was like a March Aries or April Aries? Because I'm an April's baby, and we're just it.
So
We're
is
just
that one of y'all first,
Canaries over there.
when dating now, is that one of the first qualifying questions?
What's your
after,
sign?
No, after if you are Android or Apple. Or, I know
I'm not
that
even
should
gonna
break
hold
a
you, like,
relation. That's a
you're not
deal
gonna
breaker as
hold
well.
them
I'm
Right?
not like,
Are you
no, like, I'm not even gonna lie. Green bubbles
I will
annoy
not
me.
date you, but it's annoying.
It is. Green bubbles annoy me.
Oh my God.
And you know what's sad? I came from an Android, so like to have an iPhone now, and I see that green bubble, I'm like, we not tickle, man. We not tickle.
There ain't no dinosaur. Every time y'all like something, I see liked.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't see no heart anymore.
Videos. What am I looking at? Just
Blurry.
Every time y'all like a text, I see emphasize. I see the
Like,
word
that's
emphasize.
terrible. That's
How does that all go?
Pixelated videos.
Talk to me on the gram or something.
okay.
FaceTime.
She's toxic.
Gross.
Yeah. So what about you? What
So-
do you attract?
What zodiac sign?
Yeah.
All of them.
Really?
Okay,
We got the
shorty, I
trip.
see
We got the
you.
trip.
All of them.
That's because he's
You
open.
know,
He's now
good,
open. So yeah, he can attract all of them.
Yeah, good
because
for
he's
you.
got naked with himself.
I used to attract
Yeah.
stop signs.
I'm trying to attract dollar signs.
Stop signs. That's what I'm crazy, bro.
That's funny.
I don't know what sign I attract. I mean, I've been married to a Leo for about.
I think that's what I attract the
30
most
years.
actually. Now that I think about it, Leos.
Yeah.
But I know I get
That's
along.
That's just
been.
one.
My daughter that's in there, she's a
She's a Leo.
I get along with cancers, like not
Yeah.
in a dating sense, but like cancers. For some reason, we just have chemistry where like
That's
how
we
why
could, we
we're.
could always. Well, I never
That's
dated.
why we're good friends.
I never.
dude.
Yeah, we could talk about
Yeah.
sex. We could talk about politics.
Yep.
All in one. It's
Yep.
like that's the way Scorpios and Cancers relate. I never found one like where I'm romantically attracted to one, but as far as chemistry, as far as friendship,
Yeah.
I have a lot of
You know,
Cancer friends.
I've never had a great relationship with a water sign, and they said that we could like with Pisces and all this other stuff. That's why I don't do the sign thing, because I've found that outside of what they say I'm compatible with were the better relationships. But then they
Okay.
also say you got a sun sign.
Yeah.
I was gonna say you
mine-
gotta get in
Your
your
sign.
Your
Your
Mine's
rising
a
and then your
Capricorn,
moon.
and me and my little sister's a Capricorn.
Well, that can't
We're
be
like
your sun
this.
sign. Your sun sign is Scorpio.
Okay,
So
whatever.
rising.
Rising.
And
See,
then
there it is
moon.
right there.
And
Your
I be trying
rising.
to,
I mean,
and I be trying to
You
not
gotta
be like,
get
yo, girl, my moon is in August.
My
don't even know what I'm
my
talking about.
ancestry sign is you. That's what they do.
drop a little blood right
Yeah.
here.
Just download the app.
Little blood
Yeah.
right
Co-stars.
What's your sign? I'm a Crip.
There you go.
Keep a blue flag on the left side.
Like, I don't know.
Aries.
I know my
Right.
ABCs.
So I guess the men are different. I dated an Aries. They are a little different.
I've heard, and you know what's
They're a little
crazy? Like I
different.
can't.
Oh my god.
I don't think it's safe for Aries to date another Aries. I don't
Yeah.
think it's real safe for us because somebody's not making it out alive. And I know,
I dated another Scorpio one time. I never do it again.
yeah, like I
Yeah.
know for sure.
One of my best
So boring.
One of my best relationships
We
was
both,
another
it
Scorpio.
was two assholes sitting in a tree.
I've
and I was
never
just
had
like,
another
I
Aries.
can't do this.
You say you never dated
I've never
an
had
Aries?
another Aries. I've never come across an Aries man who wants me back. Probably because they already know what's going on.
Says that
What?
about Aries man.
Oh no. When I dated an Aries man, I would do it again because like he was like my best friend.
Okay.
He cheated on me, but
Well, damn.
Your last friend.
Right.
Friend.
Right.
I did this
before
so we can just
that,
be
you know,
friends.
exactly,
If
yeah.
I cheated, you would.
before that,
Put me-
like
put me in the
everything
friend zone,
was,
man.
it
I
was,
needed an
it
outlet.
was
Do it
great.
now.
It broke my heart. You know, it was biggest heartbreak, but you know, other than that.
Yeah, but I don't typically. If I meet someone and we're talking, it's rare that I'll ask
Yeah.
about your sign.
Yeah, I'm big on the mental and energies.
Yeah, you
and-
need that
and-
connection.
because once you
Yeah.
have it with somebody, and we was talking about dating, once you have it with somebody, you can't unsee it.
Right.
True.
You know,
Exactly.
and when you're talking about mentally, physically, and y'all on the same page, that's what you always look for for the rest of your life. You know, you won't be satisfied.
You also might block yourself too if you too worried about the signs.
Yeah.
So
That
like,
part.
oh, what you a what? I'm
Yeah.
out. Can't do
And you know
it.
what's-
Well, I
Let me
do that for
piggyback off
Taurus.
that.
I just simply won't.
Yeah,
Right.
Just
Yeah.
my brother's a
simply
I
Taurus.
want
won't.
to
I would never
piggyback
date
off what you
those
said.
people.
So, like, I was interested in a person, and he's a Virgo, and he's like, "Oh, my baby mom was an Aries, and you know,
Red flag.
we didn't really, you know, the sex was good and everything, but like, we didn't really, you know, and I'm like, okay, like that's." Between you and her, like I'm not sure how long you took the time out to get to know her as a person
Yeah.
before you went ahead.
He said long enough to
And-
know I don't want her anymore.
All right, but I'm just saying, like, and here you are in my DMs. I'm telling you, I'm loud and proud as an Aries, and I'm never gonna negate that for myself. So it's just like, I don't really know. Like, so you're just saying that you right off the bat, you don't really want to get to know me. You just because
that-
I'm an
just that
Aries,
hard
now
already?
you're apprehensive.
That
But you know what? In the same breath. Like in the same breath, I will say, me and Gemini's, like we don't really, we really don't.
See, that's crazy.
You know what I
My
mean?
oldest daughter is a Gemini, her mother's an Aries, and their dynamic is just horrible.
It's really. It's,
Yeah,
it's-
like
it's
me
like-
and
And to my
Gemini's.
daughter, I always say she's either me or she's her mother, like depending on. But her and her mother just don't.
Yeah, because
That's
it's the
the-
two
yeah.
face for me.
See
It's
the
the
and
two-face.
so I have an Aries sister and a Scorpio sister, and then there's me, right? And those two, when I say will kill each other if they could. I have a scar on my back from like trying to break up a fight.
Oh my god.
Well, I mean, you have fire and an earth sign, so those two kind of
Fire
play.
and water.
Well, that's
Scorpios are
opposite.
water.
Yeah.
Oh, Scorpios is considered water.
Water sign.
Oh, okay, because I'm like, I don't know, they're on land. Scorpions are on land. I don't know.
Fire sign.
Yeah, well,
Figure that
I
out.
mean,
I
I guess.
surprised myself I'm a water sign, but I'm like, yeah, it makes sense.
Well, there you go.
I act
Fire
off
and
a lot
water,
of
like
emotions.
that. You
Okay.
know,
Don't
clearly
mix.
the two don't mix.
They don't
Like
mix.
either we gonna burn louder
Here I
and
am
harder,
there,
or
like-
you just gonna right.
Dude, I must admit, Scorpios are very.
But I love
Come on.
Causing good trouble.
I can't even deny it.
Nick,
I think that'd be a myth though sometimes.
Are you
We got the
single
drip.
or
We got the drip.
I mean,
Yeah.
what's the deal? Because we want to get your feedback on this date.
Yo, they
Oh,
said
I
so-
know, right?
You looking at me like I know she did not ask me this shit.
Well,
You dating?
Around or exclusively.
Yeah.
oh, what's the sign?
Both signs.
Your sign and
Stop sign.
what's your
Yeah,
sign?
both.
Oh, that
That
goes.
sound like it might be alright.
That goes.
But what if but like sometimes opposites attract? Like
I
that
think
whole
so,
thing
too,
could be
yeah.
dope. Like
Do they, or do they
dynamic-
at some point come to a crashing halt?
I was gonna say, I think that's
End.
a shame you gotta let go.
But, see, that's,
think it
but that's like a
depends.
circle of life. I mean,
Yeah.
all relationships
Yeah.
you could be super compatible with somebody and then just have this time
That
with
is-
y'all
that
that's
is-
not.
that is
you know?
Yeah.
You just have to know that it's all about relationships. If you love somebody, you're gonna do anything you can.
Absolutely.
And
I
if both
agree.
of y'all on the same page, you do anything you can to make them
For
happy.
sure.
Absolutely.
I'm not gonna be like, I love you so much because you're a Libra. Like, it's not.
Which are indecisive, by the way. Supposed to be a scale,
Like
but
to
really
do that
unbalanced.
Because then if I assume, because I said you're an Aries and my ex-wife is one, then I would assume that everybody that's an Aries
It's the same.
It's the same.
is the same
Yeah.
type of person.
Yeah.
So I don't really like to do that because you could come to the table with something totally different. And it's
Yeah.
amazing to be the greatest thing that ever happened to my life.
I'm not even the same person I was 20 years ago. So to say,
Exactly.
Exactly.
I'm not the same
That's
Scorpio.
thing.
I
Yeah,
was.
people
Like,
evolve.
Scorpio.
Yeah, I'm a whole Scorpio. No more whore.
No more?
Scorpio, yeah.
You don't
And I
belong
ain't
to the
burning
streets.
this
Y'all
one.
gotta understand.
You're official
You belong to the
now.
house.
Yeah.
but we still
be in the
protected
streets.
though.
I was raised by the stop sign.
Okay. right by.
But we still
See your face
territorial
right
and protected.
there.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
yeah,
Don't-
yeah.
But back to the dating though, I think what we all need to learn is like vetting, like truly vetting a person,
Yeah.
and like if you don't really know what that looks like, it's okay, learn what it is and then like truly apply it, because I think if you create like a little checklist or whatever, and if they don't meet that, not saying that you're just like, you know, throwing a person away, but there will be, like you said, sometimes the red flags will show themselves and we'll just be like, okay, that's right here. I think we should take that red flag and be like, you know what? That's a red flag. And I think we should, you know what I mean? I think we should be better at that.
Yeah.
It would save ourselves. Damn it.
So you're saying, being honest.
Being honest.
With
I
yourself.
mean, with the red flag, you have to address it. You can't take it forward. I think it would create a big problem between you because it's going to escalate. So I think if you don't address it right then, because you have to set up your boundaries.
Yeah.
And if we're not setting boundaries, I think we're dooming the relationship anyway.
You said when we do what?
If we're not setting boundaries.
Oh. Healthy ones. Realistic ones.
Yeah,
Right.
Exactly.
I think all together, do your homework and whatever that looks like. Set your boundaries. Know what your boundaries
Exactly.
are. Look for these red flags. Case search these people. Go on their Facebook. Look at their Instagram. Because I had a friend, again, met him off of Bumble, whatever is popping right now.
I just heard about that. I never knew what that was.
Bumble? Bumble is okay because it's where
I don't know what it looks
The women,
like.
the women
women approach. Okay. So they have a good conversation, hitting it off, blase blah, and he does something where he kind of triggers her. She had an issue where she was kind of stalked at one point or whatever. So it was a time where she was like, oh, I don't have to go to class. I'm going to go home and rest. He was like, well, you could come here instead. She's like, no, I'm tired of going home and rest. So he's like, it'd be funny if I just popped up at your house. She was like,
That's that
I've told you about,
Yeah,
no, he didn't know her address, but the fact that she told him the previous situation, he wanted to joke about it.
Yeah.
So that's when she was like, you know what, can't do this no more.
Yep.
Cut it off, and that was it. She blocked
Right.
it.
It's a waste of time.
Now she's got an Android. There's the one feature I like that they do have. If you block somebody, you can still see when they call. She saw all the missed calls. So
Okay.
he's calling her back to back to back, days and days and days in a row. 3 days go by. They were supposed to go to like a football game on Sunday. He left her a voicemail talking about, I just wanted to see if we were still going to the game. Like, bro, she cut you off. Yes, like, come on. So it got to the point where I had to intervene. This is my best friend. Like, so I call him and I'm like, yo, you need to chill before this is a real situation. He's like, oh, okay, I'm sorry. Like, nah, do your homework, ladies. Anyways, long story short, then we looked up his case and saw he had a domestic violence issue earlier this year. So, do your homework.
You gotta do your homework.
I tell people
On
I
the
work
men
for the
and
FBI.
women.
I find
Yeah.
information.
Oh, yeah.
I be like, hold on, wait a minute.
Man.
Let me look. So I mean,
Everybody got some sort of social media,
I
especially
had
after
a
dating.
homeboy that met this chick. I can't even remember. I'm sorry, woman. And he calls me. It's like late at night, and he's like, "Yo," I need you to look at this video and tell me what you think. At first, I'm like, no, I don't want to see that. But he's like, no, it's nothing like that. So he sends me a video of this chick. He sent me a video of this woman, and she's just talking to herself. But she's at his house, and she's like, whole conversation. So he's like, do you think something's wrong with her? I'm like, clearly. And then, so he's like, what do I do? And we sat and looked her up on case search. She had like 9 pages worth of like charges. She was in his house.
like
How did invite?
like what you mean? She was talking to
Uninvited.
No,
herself.
she was invited, and then when she got there, she started doing what she do.
I mean, you don't talk to yourself.
I mean, did she
No.
answer
You-
herself?
you-
It
no.
was.
If you answer yourself,
Yeah.
then that's a
No,
problem.
but I mean, like,
Right.
Yeah, it was something like that. Yeah, she
Really?
was really
Talking
yeah.
to herself?
So I was like, it's one or two things. Get off of me.
Right.
I was like,
When we used to play at work. Oh my
I was
God.
like, it's one or two things. Either she has some kind of mental illness, or she just doesn't like you, and she's trying to figure out how to get out of it without giving you any. The crazy part
Extreme
is,
to try to get out of it, just be gone.
Right.
get
And
this
he hit her.
right.
That's the crazy part. Like he went through with it.
Oh, I
Wait.
thought you were talking.
Right. I was like, wait a minute, that's right.
I was like, he hit her.
So okay. So he hit it.
Yeah, for sure.
So was she still talking to herself
Right.
in the mix?
She was like, "Yeah, girl."
I don't know. I didn't.
You didn't ask that.
I didn't. I just was like, wow. When he did
After
that.
all of that,
That's a whole
yeah.
other conversation because
Yeah.
why would he even go down that road, knowing that he didn't want? Never mind.
Yeah.
But y'all see where I'm going
But
with it,
I
right?
see where you're going.
Scorpio,
With it.
let
Like,
go.
Would you
Let it go,
say
Scorpio.
that some men only like vagina and not women? Because was
Yeah.
that what that was?
He didn't care if it had a crazy tag on it.
Yeah.
Like, what was that?
I mean, you do have
get
some men
overlooked.
that
She
can
could've-
screw
I mean-
anything walking.
That's
So
very much true.
Yeah.
Not sure.
anything with an opening between their legs, they will hit. So you do
That's
have
crazy,
those.
but to each his own. You know. You definitely gotta do your homework. I mean, so it's like so crazy out here. What do you do on the first date? I'm just putting it out there to anybody that wants to answer.
Well, me, I'm the kind of person that, like, especially if I don't know you, like, I don't want you to pick me up. I don't really want to meet you at your house or anything like
smart.
that. Like, I want to meet
Somewhere
in public.
possible.
Yeah, like, I'd rather meet you at wherever we're going.
That's
And then we take it from there as far as to converse and, get to know each other.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at with things. I mean, and we don't always have to go do go to eat. Like that's one thing that kind of irks me about dating nowadays. Is everybody, let's go grab something to eat. Let's go grab something to eat. Like I love eating like the next person, but it's just like we don't always have to do that. Like let's do something different. Sometimes we don't even have to spend money. Like I'm not even that kind of
You go sit in the park.
Exactly.
Right, sit in the
Another
park,
walk.
Yeah,
take
make it
a
a date.
walk, anything
Yeah.
like
So
free, like
cool.
especially because nowadays, like me right now, if somebody asks me out on a date, the ideal date for me today would be let's go see the Christmas lights.
Yeah.
I love that. Or even go into like a neighborhood, like a fancy neighborhood, and just like drive through to to see their Christmas lights. Because I know like the drive-ins is like $25 a car. Even though that's not much.
That's not. Yeah.
But it's just like, even if you didn't want to spend that, we could go drive through neighborhoods and look at the like. I don't even care. Like, I like
Y'all
that
hear?
quality time.
Y'all hear that,
Yeah.
listeners? We got wifey material here.
You know.
but I'm sorry
Here
because
we go.
It's the butt for me.
I agree with you, right?
However,
the man will always think that that's what a woman wants is
Right.
like to go out to eat. But if we were like, no, you can pick the date. Do they have the wherewithal to know that they can create whatever date?
I don't think
you know what I mean.
I don't think some men are that creative, to be honest with you. And I feel like dinner is just the easier option. And I'm not a person that like if we go out to eat and then if I ask a guy on a day, like I don't have a problem putting my debit card down. Boom, got you. Because I feel like whoever asks the person out, it should be responsible.
Yeah, but
for
is that the
in a little
is that the
way.
norm?
just- yeah,
I mean,
that's-
come
I
on.
mean, nowadays,
I get you guys.
kinda.
The general
You
consensus
ladies
is
are
that women are
exceptional.
hungry.
You
Yeah, I was
ladies
gonna
are.
say a lot of
but-
men know that.
Because you got a lot of men that put
But is that the
pussy equivalent to dinner.
True.
Like, okay, I'm gonna take you out to eat.
do.
Are
Yeah.
we,
Oh, yeah,
but
for
are
sure.
we?
got
Are we?
women
Especially
together
depending
after
on where y'all going to eat.
Right.
They
Women that
think
think
they
that
got
sex
the
is a
bag
gift.
on the check.
You got women that think that
That
sex
too.
is a gift.
I do agree with you.
So
Yes.
I think
But
both.
they're given.
And y'all have more orgasms.
It's a gift.
I mean, I think
depends
both
on
think
who's hitting.
things
But
can be
no, it
transactional.
could be something that I
Oh,
already,
like 3-1.
that you done already got. And she'll be like, well, happy Valentine's Day. And it's like, you giving me with how okay, no problem. I see where this is going.
But I could get this any
My
day of the
man.
week.
Right.
So why should it be my Valentine's Day?
I'm so glad it's
Are you
another
gonna
Y
put a fucking
chromosome
bow
on
on
here.
it?
I could say something, but it probably will ruffle something. I don't really want to.
Go ahead.
You already mentioned it now. Go ahead.
Ruffle.
I mean, I think that women tend to see it as such because
Say it.
I'm in suspense.
Right. Everybody got quiet.
it's the gift for you because you don't really want to give anything else. You don't, want to come up off of $1 if it's asked or
So you putting a price on?
No. I'm just saying, in a sense,
It's a transaction.
So is this like the
I'm just saying,
Look,
like,
turn around. Let me swipe it.
yeah, wow.
it tends to be like if a woman is like, okay, they're dating you, if a woman is like, hey, I need this, or can you do that, it's gonna come off transactional in a way for you, because you're gonna be like, well, what am I getting out of that? What, you know what I mean?
Like, y'all not just gonna give her
You do
some
know
money
that
to get
there
her
are
head done if you ain't
some
hit
men who just genuinely like bang with you enough to be like, cool, I got you.
But that's like finding a needle in a
I was
haystack.
gonna say,
too.
Yeah.
It ain't that. It ain't
It's
that.
really
I mean, it's more common than you think.
See,
But a lot of times,
but
wait.
do you not know the man I'm talking about? But are you
Hold on,
saying
hold
are you
on.
saying you don't know the man that I'm talking about though?
Sugar daddies.
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
Hold
Okay.
up.
That's okay.
But a lot of times that stems from the fact that she already gave it very early, so he has no reason to. Why would he know to do that like that if every chick he's ever dealt with, woman he's ever dealt with,
He said shit.
has given it up?
Just
like
don't say
early.
broad.
You know what I'm saying? Like if by the second or third date, say second or third date, or however many dates.
But he
they've
gave it up
already-
too.
Right. So, but you're saying that like he'll only give it up if he's getting sex out of it or something from it, but he's already gotten it. So maybe he doesn't know to give it early because he's not used to that. He
Yeah,
doesn't-
we don't like to be objectified either.
Look at him. Yes, you do. You do that.
So
Yeah, you do, Scorpio.
I'm about to say, you Scorpio.
Right.
Use me.
Okay. Smack me around.
Using me for my body.
Yes, you
Wait.
do. Yes, you do, you freak.
Using me for my body means reaching something on a hot show.
Okay.
Right.
But see, and you say like women give it up early, but a lot of women, some women feel like they don't have any choice, because a lot of women are all like in competition. Like if I don't keep your interest, or if I don't do this, then you're gonna move on and somebody else will do it, and then
It's a choice.
I'm just like, yeah, it's a choice, absolutely, but it's just like you gotta understand, I guess,
If you
from a
don't do it,
woman's
he's gonna
point,
find somebody who will, right?
right?
I mean,
It's like from a woman,
But
aren't
they
you?
would do that anyway, right?
But aren't you?
If they're not interested, they're going
I
to
mean,
do that
everybody's
anyway.
like-
I mean, you talking
Right,
general
I
in
think
general.
I
in
think
general.
everybody. If a guy came to me and was like, I'm not really, I'm trying to fuck or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And if I am wanting to do that,
Can't
say that I'm not going
an adult
until he's
decision.
ready. Hit up my little, you know what I'm saying? No.
But baby, can you just hold me?
Yeah,
Baby, can you just hold me
Since we're
tonight?
talking about that, is that still a thing?
I feel like crying.
Are we still
What are you gonna
judged
do? Hold on.
on?
Can I ask you something?
Okay.
What are you gonna add? What are you gonna do first? The sexual part, or ask for what you want?
To who? The person who I want to be with?
Person, to whoever this person is you want something from.
Well, I'm assuming
What's gonna
that
come
we already
first?
had. Did we already have that conversation?
Oh, like what? No, I'm saying like what is it that you are going? What's gonna come first? What you give or what you want? Because if you're saying that most men only give it up if it's transactional, or he thinks he's gonna get something from it, most of the time he's already gotten it. So my question is, are you gonna present yourself in a way that's like, look, before we even go there, I need to know that you bang with me, so I need to see what you gonna do for me first, or has he already gotten it?
So I mean.
Clear your throat.
I did.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I've been in. Damn, you came back in.
Oh, Lord.
I've been in both situations where, it did it on the first date. You know what I mean? And it was just like, I wasn't really at that point expecting anything. You know what I mean? Because off the rip, society tells me that because I give it up early, that this is not going to be anything.
Well, you got what you wanted, so it's
Sure, we
two
both did.
consenting adults.
And again, that's what I'm saying. We both got
And if
got
you
it,
felt
right?
this energy at that time,
But the
whatsoever.
difference is I think for woman and man, is that like I'm like, hey, all right, what is this gonna be this, or I'm gonna try to see, But at this point, you automatically put it into like, well, this is just a casual sex thing, and now you don't even get a chance to you want to get to know me. So in a sense, you shot yourself in the foot. But I think that tends to happen more so than not, where it's a situation where, they're just like, I already got it. What more do I need from you?
You gonna call me tomorrow?
Right.
Then again, I think
What they say? Why buy the cow when you get the milk for free?
Exactly.
I mean, but it'd be the same. But see, I
Is
think
that still a thing now?
no, it's used. I think it's used to not go further into a relationship. I think it's what men use to not, show up. Come and now see if this is even something, like, either because you didn't know at that point, did you? And if that's the case, let me know so that way I can make a choice myself. But what tends to happen is they'll do their vetting in their head or whatever the case may be, if even doing so. Because I don't think, I'll say most, there's some don't even know, they don't know what standards are. They'll stick their dick in the first thing that they can get it in. They don't have standards they damn self.
Even if they talk to themselves.
I mean, seriously, he was okay with going with that.
They ain't no deal breaker.
He had no standards.
He was like, yo, look.
So if he got her pregnant, he be pissed off though, right?
That he was stuck with.
And so here it goes back to the vetting.
Won't she be pissed off as well?
One of her personalities.
Right. She had to come back and find out. But again, it goes back to the vetting, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's just like, again, I think, like you said, not the R-bad. Right. But no, it goes back to the whole vetting situation. Like, a lot of men, if you got it up front, I mean, that could have ended in a pregnancy that you didn't really want, but you got your thrills. You got your 5 minutes. Oop, I'm sorry, 5 minutes. But, 10, 15 minutes.
50 pumps.
It wasn't.
I knew somebody who had 2 minutes.
If we could, but it's like.
2 minutes?
2 minutes. So, you want to hear the story time? I can tell story time on that
We
one.
got 4 minutes, so we're going to wrap it up.
This should only take 30 seconds.
All right. I know, right? I mean, long story short, basically, y'all had like 2 pumps and then got mad at Shorty that he finished fast.
But ain't
Got mad at her.
ain't that a compliment to you?
Yeah, then you be.
I mean, of course, like, I did what I was supposed to do, but like, why you got an attitude with me? Like, why you being weird with me?
And it goes back to fear and ego.
Yeah.
That ego ate him up.
I was at least gonna give her 4 minutes.
That ego ate him up.
It's your fault.
That's basically what it was.
What are you doing? All right. Well, the second and third time, was it better?
It wasn't to get to the third time. It was only the second time, and then like when he sees me, he act like he doesn't see me.
I
just
give another round because I need.
I am delivered. I am delivered.
You might be nervous the first go round.
I mean, but if you get it the second time,
you swimming in some new waters, baby.
Right, and that's what I said.
Swimming in some new waters.
That's exactly what I said. I was like, you gotta tread lightly.
Some guys, their
But
egos
the
is in
second
their
time,
dick.
if you fuck up the second time.
Listen, one
The
time
ego
I
was
had to go.
sabotaging.
I was like 19 and this chick was probably like 25.
Oh, I'm sorry.
First of all, like it was, I had never had anything that good at that time.
Okay.
But what I did was, first of all, in the middle of it, she gets a phone call. So I was like, I gotta go to the bathroom. So I'm like talking to myself, like, come on, you
gotta represent.
You gotta show this girl.
They like,
So while I'm in there, I'm literally like trying to think of stuff to not do. I'm like, oh my god, look at the wall, the corner is so. And then I looked at her aquarium. I was like, I ain't not fishing.
Start doing your taxes.
Oh my god. When she came, I jumped right out. I was like, cool. I ain't even. I got little. She was like, okay. I was like, cool.
Oh my god.
It's terrible.
I never. She invited me. She was like, that was really good. I was like, And she was like, you want to come back again? I was like,
Wow. You had to hit her with
the time in my
a
life, like I don't know what that was, but I was like 18.
I had no business being there, and I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Say what?
You had no business being there.
Oh no, listen.
You ain't bring your
I used to be king.
You ain't not been
That
scuba
was the
diving.
only time that ever happened. I learned how to swim immediately. I mean, that was my first, but that was the first time I ever had something.
King
that was
Cougar.
like,
something to
be,
do.
yeah.
That's gonna be your nickname, King Cool.
Yeah, when I was younger.
Oh, okay.
So like if I was like 19, she'd be like 30.
Yeah.
Predatory behavior.
Maybe a little older than that.
Predatory behavior.
Scorpio thing.
Just a Scorpio thing. I wouldn't understand.
Wouldn't understand. Not
I enjoy
not
it.
our club.
Use me,
Yeah.
girl.
Okay.
Use me.
So since we're winding down,
Yes, no problem.
we got
I'm
quick.
on my way.
Perfect date for you.
I drink up there. Capri Sun.
Just anything that I could really do, spend quality time and really get to know you and
Eat
be
that
with
lunch.
you as a person.
Okay. Perfect date for you.
I'm a big kid, so like if we can go do something like skating or like
I love activities.
Even if we was just like listening to music, smoke, you know what I'm saying, roll up a nice little J or whatever. Karaoke. I mean, like I like to do fun stuff. So like
Y'all some unicorns.
I am a unicorn. Thank you.
Black unicorns.
Right. Perfect date for you.
I'm a piggyback off her. Not smoking pot for me, but yeah, I like the. I mean, the dinner part is cute. That's cute and everything.
Yeah.
But like, let's go to a museum. Let's go.
Yes,
Let's get out. Let's get out and talk. Let's go bowling.
Okay.
Let's go do something fun. It ain't gotta be
Yeah.
sexy. Like it don't have
Right.
to be like
and
not
I'm
like
hella
the cook,
competitive
so maybe
too.
You can cook dinner
Yeah,
for her.
I'll cook, why
Yeah.
not?
That's nice.
And you
date
can go
night.
home without being.
I'm a fun and
So-
adventurous
Touch me
person,
not.
so I'm really down for whatever. Like I like going to the aquarium. I'm also down to take some magic mushrooms and go watch a magic show. You know, stuff like that. Yeah, right? So anything adventurous, we can do it as long as it don't involve heights and bungee
Okay,
jumping,
gotcha.
planes and shit like that.
Gotcha.
Oh, I ain't doing that on mushrooms.
No.
Are you gonna give us a line or no? You're not with that night.
I'm just enjoying this whole thing.
I'm so glad that you were
Listen,
able
we can
to
harmonize.
But listen, the next
about
time
you?
I want y'all to come back and we'll do that. And I'll sing and we'll
Gotcha.
play, we'll play new music. We'll have a good time. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Oh,
This was super fun.
We can talk
We'll
about
talk.
it.
We'll talk about it. So,
Y'all perfect date. We gotta get y'all.
Perfect day. With me is always music, culture, stuff like activities. First dates always be like a date where both of us feel comfortable. Because that was the main thing with me. It's like I want to make sure that my date is comfortable, and because I can't have a lot of tension about crazy things, so that was always been my thing. It's always had to do with music and culture.
A perfect day for me. I like a picnic. I feel like it's so intimate. And you're actually getting to know them. I love music. Let's see, what else? I like to attend concerts. So that's like a perfect date for me. And I love poetry.
Wine, festivals.
Yeah, definitely that. Definitely that. So yeah. We gotta do this again because I feel like the time went by so
I
fast
know.
and we didn't get to explore all of the aspects of dating. So
We need
I
part
will
two.
have to. We
Did you
definitely
say-
gonna do a
Did you
part
say
two.
why you dressed up?
Oh yeah. Nick, you didn't put a flyer up there. It was so deep.
Yeah.
So Friday, I have to get this out there. Friday, I'm hosting a 70s birthday party, which
Soul
is
Train
why.
style.
And this is my Ron Cornelius.
Dawn.
Yeah, he has a voice and everything. So
I was gonna say you got that radio voice for sure.
he definitely has
And it's
that.
for a good cause. It's the price of admission is you buy a $25 gift card so that they can donate to children in need. It's in Towson, and it's actually the one of our previous guests.
Yeah.
Is throwing it. The last guest that we had, author
Kim. Yep. Kim Ridley.
Yeah, she's.
I'll post the flyer.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's Friday,
Oh,
and it's gonna be
there's the
lots of
flyer.
fun. Soul Train Line, Soul. We're gonna have Aretha Franklin, Gladys Knight.
Okay.
So it's gonna be a real.
Time to boogie oogie oogie.
Did you
You
get your
just can't boogie no more.
goldfish shoes?
platform.
You got the platform.
First of all, he swore me
All the
down
year.
that they didn't have them.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm going to find them. Don't tell me they don't exist.
Right.
Because I'll find them. I'll find them. So I found them.
I got my fit ready.
They really had the fish in there.
She really did send me some
It's
platform
real.
with some
It's real.
goldfish.
They sell it on Amazon.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
like- You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's artificial.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Artificial. The fish is artificial.
So Sunday, I have another event that I'm hosting, a red carpet event when Nick gets to fly up. That one is at Security Mall. It starts at 4. It's a fashion show, a fashion and award show. So if you have the opportunity to come, definitely would appreciate seeing all of you. I don't expect you to attend both, but if you can attend one, I'd definitely be grateful. It's actually given by Critique Modeling Agency.
Good times had ball.
So yeah, I'm doing a little something.
Go ahead.
But I gotta give a shout out because DZ, I didn't even know that you received an award for best DJ.
Okay.
That's awesome.
And shout out to you on your XB award as well.
Thank you.
Yes, out here awarding Black excellence.
But thank you so much.
And I saved a lot of money on my car insurance by switching.
By switching the guy on.
Yeah.
John, you want to plug what you got going on?
Yeah, right now I'm still working on the second album. The first album,
Yes.
Imperfect Gentleman, is still available for stream everywhere. And first single, it's called Change For You, featuring Fourth Quarter, and J Love will be out at the top of the year.
Okay.
And these songs gonna give me the draws, right?
Oh, listen.
Lord. Go
When I
ahead.
was here the first time, listen, there's a song that's going to be on my album called Pull Up.
Okay.
Okay.
And to make you want to
It's
pull
gonna
up.
be sexy.
Pull up on me.
Pull up on me.
I played that. I sent it to one of my homegirls, and she's married. We used to date a long time ago. We're good friends.
Okay.
She's married.
He qualified.
Yeah, right.
She was like, I was like, yo, what you think of the song? She just texts back, I can't talk to you. It's like this song. And she was like,
Yo, was
I had this.
that
And
high?
then she called me and was like, the next day she was like, it made me want to go back. And then I had to send it to my email so my husband wouldn't see it. And that's as far as I'll go with it.
Okay.
It's the Scorpio energy, baby. It ain't
Oh,
the Scorpio,
Lord.
it's the Scorpio energy. So,
They don't
but yeah,
know.
the first single.
They don't know about
and,
that,
the album should be out when I'm off that.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, we got a couple more records to do. We're gonna start mixing next month. So
Sounds good.
Good
What's going on with you?
So I too sing, but like I'm just now getting back in the studio.
let's work.
Yeah.
We
Sounds
can
like a
work.
duet.
We
Sounds
can
like a
work.
duet
Let's
going
work.
on.
She can
Word.
sing,
But
honey.
I am also, I want to plug Black Waterhouse.
Yes.
That's BLAKWATER House. This is a culture hub space downtown, 218 West Saratoga Street, fifth floor. 2 studios, 2 gallery spaces. When you enter this portal, you are home. You said you like music. We have jazz nights. We have hip hop nights. It's just a feeling, the energy there. You say you like energy. We'll also affirm you there. So come on over. You know what I mean? We need you there.
He
there.
plays steel drums.
Oh, do you?
So yeah, you
That's
all
that
have to work.
Trinidadian in him.
Yes, I
Y'all
do.
gotta work.
Y'all gotta get married.
Yeah.
Because he's
I
an
already
island boy.
already looked you up, so I can. We're
Gonna
gonna,
have to work. So
sister,
yes.
sister, we're gonna link up, okay?
yes.
So I plug him every chance I get while he sits at the end of the table like he doesn't have a goddamn band.
Oh,
No, I mean,
wait a minute. Excuse me. Yo, y'all be whole entities. Y'all be whole entities, and then like trying to like,
Everybody else be all hype about this stuff.
yo,
and he be
y'all,
laid back. It's all the time.
company.
y'all Scorpios are something, yo.
I know.
Special.
Yeah, we just played for the
coming to us.
we just played for the Christmas tree lighting in
whole
Philadelphia.
thing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Well,
what's up.
Wow.
What's your band called?
Trinidad and Tobago, Baltimore Steel Orchestra, and I'll do some projects, some jazz projects as well, and solo projects.
Wow.
He's great.
Since you know, Trini, let me ask you, what's up with the doubles?
What's up with that? Well, you know what doubles give.
Because I'm West Indian too.
that's right.
But I mean, I
Okay.
just want to know what's up with the doubles. Sure.
Okay. You know where to get some?
No. Like, I would love to know.
So I'm gonna turn it to you. What do you have coming up? You.
Oh, me? I'm just going to school and working.
That's how you for her.
Don't
Her
say
and I
just.
work together, and I'm supposed to be a better influence on her, but I'm not.
We're just alike. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Like, we feed off of each other's energy. Like, when some stupid stuff happens at work, I just go back there, or she'll come back, and we just
I'll be looking at her like, don't come back here, because I'm not gonna give you no positive feedback.
because you just be like, why?
Yeah.
So when Jackie be like, Richard, don't start no shit, and this is me starting some shit.
Okay.
So it's been a great night. I appreciate each
Yes,
and
this was
every one of
fun.
you for coming
Thank you
again.
for
Like
having
I said,
me.
next
Great.
month we have to do part 2
Oh yeah.
because it was so much that I wanted to ask.
You only tip of the
Oh,
surface.
Yeah,
right. We
so,
didn't even
um,
get to the nitty
It
gritty.
should be like a
Yeah.
whole series.
I think it should be a whole dating series. I can learn some things from y'all youngsters. You know,
Trying to learn myself.
no, but
Look, and us
I
married
like,
people gonna sit on the corner and be like,
y'all can add
and
some.
not
What
incriminate
you want
ourselves.
now?
Right.
Yeah, let me get some advice from
Something-
some married
Yeah,
people. Like,
exactly. But I thought this was really cool.
See,
You know,
here's
you
my
all had a
thing.
lot of things to say.
If you've been married for over 10 years, I
eye-opener.
don't think I can take dating advice from you. That's
Did-
just my
Like,
policy.
Did I give you any?
No.
Because
But
I'll
she
be
said,
like,
she said
But
she
you know what? I think that's a great point. I feel like that's
I don't give.
that's shady, though.
Space and oppor-
I don't give advice. I tell you what your options are.
Yeah.
You know, I don't
Space
give
and
advice.
opportunity.
But I think that's a great point because after being off the market for a very long time, I don't even have a fucking clue.
Yeah, but I'm
You know what I
interested.
mean?
I'm interested in what y'all got to say because I have teenage daughters.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? That I'm trying to guide them from a dad's perspective,
Right.
which is hard with this social media and trying to
This is
allow them to
different.
grow at the same time, protect them. So it's driving me crazy. I mean, I get gray hair. You know,
I'm sorry.
gray hairs by the day.
What are the ages?
Well, my middle is 17, about to go to college. I mean, 8. She'll be 18 in January.
Okay.
My eldest one is in California, 23.
Ooh. All right. Okay. All right, Dad.
And
So we're gonna sidebar after the show. I'm gonna close out the show. I thank each and every one of you for listening. This video will be posted on YouTube,
Yes.
on my Facebook page, and thank you and have a great night.
wonderful conversation.
Thank you for having
Thank you.
us.
Thank you for having us.
So long.